The day the sky turned dark over Earth, no one understood what was coming. At first, people believed it was only a strange weather change. Clouds gathered, forming thick layers across continents. But soon, every radar station, every satellite operator, and every military command center on Earth saw the same terrifying truth. It was not a storm. It was not clouds. It was shadows of something massive, shapes so large that sunlight struggled to pass around them. High above Earth, hundreds of circular signatures appeared on long-range scanners. The shapes were moving fast, too fast to be natural. And when the first ship broke through the clouds of space dust, the world realized who had arrived: the Draconian Armada. For centuries, their names spread fear across the galaxy. Entire star systems surrendered without resistance when those ships appeared. Their empire grew through fear, war, and domination. And now, their full war fleet, hundreds of sharp black metal ships, was hanging above Earth like a promise of destruction. News channels around the world switched to emergency broadcasts. Billions of people watched their screens in silence. The Armada filled the sky like floating mountains, each warship glowing with red energy veins and dark engines. Earth had no fleet strong enough to fight them, no weapon that could stop them. Even Earth's leaders stood frozen, unsure whether to run, talk, or pray. But then, something strange happened. The first Draconian command ship powered up its main cannon, preparing to fire. Red light built up in the front of the weapon. Earth waited for the explosion that would destroy a city. Seconds passed. More seconds. Then the beam flickered. The red glow weakened. The ship's engine stuttered, like a heartbeat losing strength. Every Draconian ship across the sky began to glitch. Their lights dimmed. Their weapon systems shook. A strange low hum passed through the atmosphere, so deep that buildings vibrated and birds fell silent. Inside their flagship, Draconian generals shouted orders. They believed Earth was using some secret weapon. But Earth had done nothing. The world simply watched, confused and terrified. One by one, the ships began to lose control. Huge vessels drifted like dead whales in the vacuum. Smaller ones spun slowly, engines shutting down. Communication signals fell silent. Every Draconian system failed at the same exact moment, as if an invisible hand had reached into their machines and crushed their power. And then, something that no one in the galaxy had ever seen began. The Draconian Armada started to fade. Not explode, not jump away, not retreat. Fade, as if their metal bodies were dissolving into thin air. A huge cruiser slowly turned transparent. First its wings disappeared, then its engines, then its core broke into thousands of glowing particles. Those particles stretched into long golden trails and vanished like fireflies swallowed by the darkness. People stared up at the sky with open mouths. Some screamed, some cried, some fell to their knees. They all saw the same impossible sight, an entire war fleet being erased silently, without any weapon, without any warning. Within 8 minutes, the entire Draconian Armada was gone. No explosions, no debris, no radio messages, just empty sky. For a moment, Earth felt relief. Maybe they survived a war without fighting. Maybe something protected them. But soon the relief turned into fear. What could erase the strongest fleet in the galaxy in minutes? What power lived near Earth without anyone knowing? Scientists, military leaders, and engineers across the planet worked without sleep. They studied the orbit where the ships had appeared last. They detected strange energy waves, patterns that did not match any known technology or natural event. The waves looked alive, like something breathing. A team from a United Earth Observatory discovered something chilling. The energy wave held a message, not a clear voice, not a language, but a pattern, like a warning. When decoded, it formed 3 simple words. It is waking. Earth panicked. News channels debated theories. People filled shelters. Every government sent emergency alerts. But outside Earth, in the far corners of the galaxy, things were very different. The Galactic Council received Earth's broadcast of the vanishing event. They watched the footage of the Armada dissolving. Instead of fear, they laughed. They believed Earth had faked the video. They claimed the Draconians had retreated. They said Earth was exaggerating to gain attention. Some council members mocked humans openly. Others said Earth's technology was too weak to detect real events. A few believed the footage was a simple glitch, but Earth scientists kept sending warnings. The Draconian Armada did not flee. Something took them. The galaxy ignored Earth. While Earth struggled to understand the ancient force that erased the Armada, alien empires carried on with their politics and trade, blind to the threat that now quietly moved through space. A threat so old that star systems were born and destroyed while it slept. Earth watched the sky with fear. The galaxy looked down on Earth with arrogance. None of them knew the vanishing was only the first sign, and soon the terror that consumed the Draconian Armada would return. For 2 days, Earth remained in shock. The world tried to return to normal life, but the skies still felt heavier than before, as if something unseen was watching. Governments called for calm, but no one believed their words. Every person who had witnessed the Draconian Armada vanish carried the same silent fear. If something could erase them, what could it do to Earth? Inside the United Earth Council's underground headquarters, the atmosphere was tense. Screens showed constant replays of the moment the ships dissolved. Scientists filled the large hall, arguing about theories, comparing energy signatures, and replaying audio waves that no human ear had ever heard before. At the center of the room stood Dr. Elena Ward, Earth's top astrophysicist. Her voice was calm, but her eyes revealed sleepless nights. She pointed to a large hologram showing fluctuating patterns, loops of glowing lines twisting like living organisms. These patterns were left behind after the fleet vanished, she explained, and they matched nothing known in the galaxy, nothing made by machines, nothing natural. The council members whispered among themselves. Some were afraid, some doubted her, but everyone was desperate for answers. A military officer stepped forward. "Is it a weapon?" he asked. "Did the Draconians test something and lose control?" Dr. Elena shook her head. "No, this is not their technology. Look at the wave frequency. It behaves like something breathing." The room fell into silence. Breathing? What kind of force breathes in the vacuum of space? To find answers, Earth launched a small investigation fleet. 5 ships carrying scientists, soldiers, drones, and deep space scanning equipment. Their mission was simple: reach the coordinates where the Armada vanished and study whatever remained. The fleet left Earth's orbit quietly. Millions watched the live broadcast, hoping they would return with explanations that didn't sound like nightmares. Journalists followed the ship's progress, and social media exploded with theories. Some people believed aliens saved Earth. Others believed Earth awakened a god. And a few whispered the scariest belief: something ancient woke up. When the investigation ships reached the location, they slowed to a crawl. Scanners detected strange distortions, like the fabric of space had been stretched and twisted. Captain Reyes, the commanding officer, stared at the view screen. Nothing looked unusual at first. Only stars, emptiness, and the ghostly afterglow of the Draconian energy trails. But as the ships moved deeper, space itself began to shimmer. A cold wave passed through the hull. Lights flickered. For a moment, every crew member felt pressure inside their minds, like someone was pushing a thought into them. "What was that?" one officer whispered. Dr. Elena monitored the sensors. Her face turned pale. "It's the same signal we detected on Earth," she said. "Only stronger." They released dozens of drones into the distortion field. The drones floated silently, scanning, collecting particles, testing gravity. Everything seemed normal until the first drone simply vanished. No explosion, no error message. It blinked out of existence. 1 second it was there. The next it was not. The crew gasped. They attempted to retrieve drone data, but nothing returned. It was as if the drone never existed. Another drone passed through the same area. It vanished, too. This time, the sensors captured a strange whisper, like a voice echoing through static. The message was fractured, broken, but one word was clear: sleep. Dr. Elena almost stopped breathing. "It's communication," she murmured. "Something is speaking through the distortion." Captain Reyes stepped back. "Are you saying whatever erased the Draconian fleet is still here?" Before she could answer, a wave of gravitational force rippled across the ships. Every alarm screamed. The hulls groaned. Bolts rattled loose. For a moment, the stars outside stretched unnaturally, bending like liquid. "Get us out of here," the captain shouted. Engines fired. The fleet retreated from the distortion field. The pressure stopped instantly, as if the invisible force lost interest. But something followed them. A small streak of golden dust, too faint for the naked eye, clung to hull of the Central Investigation ship. No one noticed it. Not yet. Back on Earth, the data from the mission arrived. Scientists scanned the particles and gravitational readings. Their faces turned white. These energy signatures matched no known species, no known physics, no known technology. But they resembled something found in only one place in the entire galaxy's recorded history. Ancient ruins discovered on dead planets thousands of years ago. The warnings carved on those ruins all said the same thing: do not disturb the deep. Earth scientists connected this message with the whisper caught inside the distortion field. The conclusion was horrifying. The Draconians did not vanish because of Earth. They vanished because they awakened something that sleeps near Earth. Asterisk, asterisk. Earth sent urgent messages to the Galactic Council. This time, they didn't laugh, but they still didn't believe fully. One council member replied coldly, "Investigate your planet's orbit. Perhaps your own people are behind this." Earth felt alone. Meanwhile, in the ship returning from the mission, the streak of golden dust slowly spread like mist. It drifted into the ventilation system. It whispered faint sounds. The crew didn't hear them, but they felt uneasy, restless, and watched. The ancient force was now moving. It had tasted the Draconian Armada. It had sensed curious minds near its resting place. And now, it was following them home. Earth had taken the first step into a mystery far older than its sun. The investigation had begun, but what they found was only the beginning of the terror. For many days, Earth sent message after message to the Galactic Council. Every signal carried the same warning. The Draconian Armada did not retreat. It was erased by something ancient, something still alive. But across the galaxy, powerful empires did not take her seriously. They dismissed the reports, believing humans were exaggerating to gain attention. To them, Earth was a young species, small, emotional, and unimportant in the greater political map of the stars. Inside the great chambers of the Galactic Council, delegates from 50 civilizations listened to Earth's broadcasts with bored expressions. Some rolled their eyes. Some whispered jokes. A few didn't even look at the screens. High Chancellor Vorik of the Zilirian Empire spoke first. "Humans love drama," he said with a smirk. "They probably destroyed one small Draconian scout ship and now claim victory over the Armada." Laughter filled the chamber. Another delegate added, "If something erased the Armada, why didn't the Draconians scream for help? Why no distress signal? Why no emergency beacon?" No one had an answer. But because the galaxy trusted its own pride more than Earth's warnings, they made a decision that would haunt them later. They chose to ignore everything. However, not everyone was blind. In the dark outer sectors, small signs began to appear, quiet, subtle, and easy to dismiss unless one looked closely. A merchant ship vanished near a moon that had always been safe. A deep space mining station suddenly lost all power, without any technical fault. A research probe sent into an empty region failed to send even 1 second of data. The galaxy shrugged at these tiny events. They called them accidents, glitches, or pirate attacks. But then something happened that no one could ignore. A Draconian escape pod drifted into the Velian system. It was old, damaged, and barely holding together. The system patrol ship caught it and brought it on board, expecting to find dead bodies. But inside was one living Draconian soldier. He was shaking, dehydrated, and his armor was broken as if something had crushed it. His scales were pale, his eyes wide with terror. He kept whispering words the rescuers did not understand. His voice cracked, trembling with fear. The medical team tried to calm him, but he continued whispering until they finally translated his language. His words froze every person in the room. "We did not attack Earth. We woke something." The soldier died minutes later, but the damage was done. The message spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every empire, every military, every intelligence network analyzed those words. Suddenly, Earth's warning did not sound like a joke anymore, but it was already too late. Strange gravitational waves began spreading across 10 star systems. Entire planets felt small vibrations beneath their crusts. Space stations shook as if hit by invisible tides. Some ships drifting near the waves lost control of their engines, spinning helplessly until rescued. The galaxy's arrogance began to break. Meetings were held. Reports were analyzed. But none of it made sense. The gravitational waves were not natural. They pulsed with rhythm like a heartbeat. They carried faint echoes like distant whispers. Scientists ran the data through translation systems. One message repeated again and again. "We are rising." High Chancellor Vorik, who once laughed at Earth, now sat silently in his war room. His eyes were wide. "What did the Draconians wake?" he asked his generals. No one answered. Meanwhile, Earth scientists studied new waves reaching their planet. Their energy patterns looked similar to the ones left behind after the Armada vanished. Dr. Elena Ward stared at the readings with fear. "It's spreading," she said softly. "The force that erased the Armada is moving through space." Back in the Galactic Center, panic finally broke the Council's arrogance. A massive meeting was called. Delegates shouted at each other, blaming old enemies, blaming the Draconians, blaming Earth. Conspiracy theories filled the room. Some believed Earth controlled the ancient force. Others believed the Draconians unleashed a superweapon. But none of them wanted to accept the truth. A power older than all of them had awakened, something they could neither stop nor understand. During the meeting, a sudden alarm echoed across every communication screen. A live emergency broadcast began from the Valence system. The camera shook. Officers ran across a control room in complete panic. The broadcast officer shouted into the camera, "Something is inside our system. It's not a ship, no metal, no form, just darkness." The feed glitched. The room became dim, like a shadow had passed over it. People screamed. Systems exploded. The screen went black. The broadcast ended. The Galaxy Council chamber fell silent. For the first time in many generations, every alien leader felt true fear. One delegate whispered, "We should have listened to Earth." The Chancellor finally spoke, voice shaking. "Prepare all fleets. Prepare all science ships. Prepare everything. Something is coming." But even with all their strength, the galaxy was unprepared, because the ancient force did not move like a fleet or an army. It did not travel through space like ships. It drifted through dimensions, appearing wherever it wished. It fed on energy, metal, and life. And now, after tasting the Draconian Armada, it was hungry again. Earth received the emergency broadcast moments after the Council did. The people watched the destruction of the Valence system with heartbreak and terror. No weapon, no shield, no technology made any difference. Humanity finally understood something deeply terrifying. The galaxy had ignored the signs. And now, the terror had started to arrive. Asterisk, asterisk. Earth was no longer just the center of mystery. It was about to become the center of war. The ancient force had awakened, and it was coming. The Valence system's destruction spread fear across the entire galaxy, like a cold wind. Every empire, every military station, every listening post replayed the final broadcast again and again. The screen had shown no enemy ships, no missiles, no explosions. Just darkness moving like a living shadow, swallowing everything in silence. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy understood something. They were no longer facing an enemy with ships. They were facing something formless, something alive, something ancient. Asterisk, asterisk. On Earth, the United Council gathered once more. The room was filled with tension, fear, and unanswered questions. The hologram screen floated above the table, replaying the strange energy pulse that had hit the Valence system. The wave had a rhythm, like a slow heartbeat, and carried faint whispers beneath the static. Dr. Elena Ward stood at the front, her hand shaking slightly as she adjusted controls. "These pulses are increasing," she said. "They are moving from system to system, and they are getting stronger." A general leaned forward. Can we track it? Elena shook her head. Not exactly. It doesn't travel through space like ships. It moves through folds in reality. It appears where it wants. It disappears when it wants. The room grew colder. Another scientist spoke softly. It's not bound by the laws of physics. It may not even be fully inside this dimension. Earth had no weapon to fight such a thing. No one did. Meanwhile, in deep space, the investigation ship that had returned from the distortion zone drifted quietly toward Earth, unaware of the golden dust now spreading inside its ventilation system. Crew members felt uneasy, tired, unable to sleep. Some felt watched. Others heard faint whispers when alone. The ship's cameras caught nothing unusual, but every hour, temperature dropped a little. Lights dimmed for seconds at a time. Shadows inside the hallways shifted slightly. Even when no one walked through them, the force that erased the Draconian Armada was waking up inside that ship. Far away, the Galactic Council attempted to prepare a response fleet. Thousands of ships formed a defensive wall around important systems. Space stations activated energy shields. Scientists raced to understand the nature of the dark force. But none of it mattered. One by one, nearby star systems sent distress calls. Our mining station has disappeared. A moon is breaking apart. The stars are flickering. Something is blocking them. Every call ended with the same thing. Static, silence, then darkness. In the council chamber, Chancellor Vork slammed his fist on the table. We cannot allow panic to spread. We must find this enemy. But another delegate rose, voice trembling. How do we fight something that has no form? How do we shoot a shadow? No one answered, because the truth was becoming clear. This was not a creature, not a weapon, not an army. It was a force older than their galaxy. Asterisk, asterisk. It had no eyes, but it saw. It had no mouth, but it spoke. It had no shape, but it consumed. And now it was hungry. Back on Earth, Dr. Elena continued analyzing the data. She studied the gravitational patterns, the whispers inside the energy waves, and the strange golden particles captured by the drones. Slowly, a terrifying picture came together. She called the council urgently. What we are facing is not new, she said. It has appeared before in the ancient past. Many civilizations recorded its presence, but their warnings were ignored or forgotten. She switched the hologram to display carvings found on dead planets, symbols of spirals, dark suns, and fading ships. This force sleeps for many thousands of years, she continued. It feeds on energy, both physical and living, and when disturbed, it awakens. A general stood quickly. Disturbed? By what? Elena took a long breath. By the arrival of the Draconian Armada. The room froze. She explained what she had discovered. Millions of years ago, Earth had been a quiet region with no intelligent life. An ancient cosmic entity, neither alive nor dead, settled near the solar system. It entered a deep dormant state, unnoticed by early civilizations. When the Draconian Armada entered Earth's orbit, their engines and weapons created massive energy spikes. The combined power of hundreds of warships acted like a beacon that woke the entity. The Armada did not vanish. They were absorbed, unmade, consumed. Their energy became fuel for the ancient force. Now, the galaxy understood something terrifying. The Draconians were not victims of Earth. They were victims of their own aggression. As Earth discussed a threat, the investigation ship approached Earth's orbit. Its crew was silent, moving slowly through the halls, as if in a trance. Lights flickered again. The golden dust in the air thickened, forming faint shapes that looked like long, shadowy fingers reaching across the ceiling. A crew member named Isaac walked toward the engine room. He heard a soft whisper behind him. He turned. No one was there. He kept walking. Then the whisper came again, clearer. We rise. Isaac froze. His breath turned cold. The shadows around him stretched, twisting slowly as if alive. He tried to run, but his legs felt heavy. A soft, golden light drifted from the vents and circled him like mist. Back in the control room, the ship's AI suddenly shut down. The screens flickered. The engines powered off. An alarm sounded. Unknown presence detected. But when the crew looked at the sensors, nothing appeared. No creature. No salo. No heat signature. Just emptiness. Yet they could all feel it. Something was inside the ship with them. Something awake. At the exact same moment, Earth scientists detected a massive energy spike approaching the planet. Dr. Elena checked the readings. Her face went pale. "It's the entity," she whispered. "It's coming." The galaxy had ignored the signs. The Armada had vanished. The warnings carved in ancient ruins had been real. And now, the terror that slept beneath the stars had fully awakened. Earth braced for the arrival of a cosmic nightmare. The true war was about to begin. The ancient force moved toward Earth like a silent storm. No shape, no face, no visible body. Just a wave of darkness stretching through space, bending stars and twisting light in its path. Earth's satellites caught strange pulses, short flashes of golden static, followed by seconds of complete silence. At the United Earth Council, fear grew stronger with every passing hour. Everyone knew the entity was coming closer, but no one understood why. What did it want? Why was it connected to Earth? Why had it awakened here? Dr. Elena Ward stood alone in her laboratory, scanning old star maps and ancient records. Her hands trembled as she pieced together data from dozens of civilizations, records they had dismissed as myths, legends, or superstition. But the more she studied, the clearer the truth became. Earth was not just a planet. It was a cradle, a resting point, a sleeping ground for something older than time. Asterisk, asterisk. She stared at the cosmic diagrams. Every culture that had encountered the entity in the past drew the same pattern, a spiral in space, always positioned in the same region. And that region was Earth sector. "It has always been here," she whispered. "Long before humans, before any species in this galaxy. Earth was not special because of humans. It was special because the ancient force chose this place to sleep. Energy scans showed that a powerful dormant signature had existed beneath the solar system for millions of years, hidden deep inside the fabric of space-time. It had remained unnoticed because it slept so deeply that no technology could detect it. But the Draconian Armada, with its massive weapons, engines, and energy bursts, had acted like a hammer hitting a sleeping giant. It woke, and now it was fully aware. Dr. Elena ran into the council chamber. "Earth is not the target," she said urgently. "Earth is the center. The entity has been here longer than our species. Maybe longer than our planet. It's not coming for Earth. It's coming back to the place it belongs." The room grew silent. General Harlow frowned. "Are you saying Earth is part of it?" "No," Elena replied. "Earth is its home, its ancient den. The Draconians entered this system with weapons ready. They disturbed something they did not understand." "And now?" another council member asked. Elena looked at the large screen showing the shadow approaching Earth. "And now it wants to reclaim its rest." The idea shook everyone. Earth had always seen itself as small and weak in the galaxy. But now the truth was different. Earth was a location of cosmic importance, not because of humans, but because of what slept beneath space around it. Meanwhile, the investigation ship, the one carrying traces of the entity, entered Earth's orbit. But inside, the situation grew terrifying. Lights flickered nonstop. Crew members saw glimpses of moving shadows on the walls. Even though no one was there, the temperature dropped to freezing. The air felt heavy, like invisible hands pressed on their chests. One officer tried sending a message to Earth, but the moment he touched the console, it sparked violently and went dark. Isaac, the crew member who heard whispers earlier, now heard them clearly. "We remember you. We waited. Asterisk, asterisk." His heart pounded. He backed away slowly. The golden dust around him gathered into a swirling cloud. Shapes formed inside the mist. Long limbs, twisting faces, ancient symbols flickering like fire. He screamed. The ship's cameras captured nothing unusual. Only corridors filled with strange golden fog. But the fog had intelligence. It moved purposefully, spreading through the ship like roots of a growing tree. Earth detected the ship's arrival and sent a military squad to escort it. But when the soldiers boarded, they found the halls empty. Not a single crew member responded. The entire investigation team had vanished. Only the whisper remained. We rise. Back on Earth, the Galactic Council finally accepted reality. A massive emergency meeting was held via hologram connection. Leaders from across the galaxy appeared on screens, faces filled with fear, anger, and confusion. It started on Earth, the Zilirian Chancellor shouted. You should have warned us. Dr. Elena replied calmly. We tried. You all ignored us. An older alien diplomat spoke next. What do you know about this entity? Elena took a deep breath. We know it is not evil, not alive, not dead. It does not hate. It does not conquer. It only consumes energy when disturbed. When it is left alone, it sleeps for ages. But it is awake now, someone shouted. Yes, Elena said, because the Draconian Armada triggered it, and now it needs to feed until it rests again. The entire council chamber trembled with fear. Can we stop it? Another leader asked. Elena closed her eyes. Stopping it is impossible. But maybe we can understand it before it consumes everything. On Earth, ancient ruins hidden deep inside caves and deserts began to vibrate. Old stones cracked open, revealing glowing lines, symbols that matched the patterns in the cosmic waves. Humanity had always believed these ruins belonged to lost tribes or ancient civilizations. But that was not true. They were warnings. Warnings left by species that once visited Earth and feared the sleeping force. Warnings humanity never understood. As the ruins awakened, the same message appeared on every glowing surface. Do not disturb the deep. It was now too late. Dr. Elena realized something terrifying. Earth had been protected for millions of years by the entity's presence. Other predators, ancient cosmic threats, and dangerous species avoided this part of the galaxy because they sensed a sleeping force. Earth had survived countless dangers not because of strength, but because of silence. But now the silence was broken. The ancient force stretched across the sky above Earth like a growing storm. The clouds glowed with unnatural light. Electricity danced across the oceans. Animals fled into forests. Humans felt pressure inside their minds, as if someone was gently knocking on their thoughts. A voice, older than stars, whispered across the planet. We return. We hunger. Asterisk, asterisk. Earth understood its truth. It was never just a home. It was a warning sign, a boundary, a place marked by an ancient terror. Asterisk, asterisk. And now that terror was awake again. The galaxy had ignored the signs. The Draconian Armada had paid the price. And Earth was next. The truth was clear. The real war had not even begun. The sky above Earth changed before anyone saw the entity itself. At first, clouds twisted into unnatural spirals, forming shapes that looked almost like enormous eyes watching from above. The wind moved without direction, as if pulled by invisible hands. Animals across the planet became restless. Birds flew low, dogs barked at empty spaces, and whales released deep cries across oceans. People all over Earth felt a strange pressure in their minds. Soft at first, then stronger, like a distant heartbeat echoing inside their skulls. It was not painful, but it was frightening. Something was speaking without words. Something was coming. Inside the United Earth Council chamber, Dr. Elena Ward monitored the energy readings. The graphs shook wildly. The numbers made no sense. The patterns looked like they were alive, breathing, expanding, stretching across the solar system. It's here, she whispered. Generals and leaders turned to her in fear. What do you mean here? One asked. Elena pointed to the hologram, showing Earth's orbit. A massive distortion appeared, like space itself was bending inward. The entity has arrived at the edge of our planet's gravity. Outside in space, the invisible waves slowly became visible. Golden dust formed into swirling clouds. Shadows stretched out like long fingers. Light bent unnaturally, twisting into spirals. Space cracked with thin, glowing lines. Then the whisper came again, echoing across satellites, radios, and human minds. We rise. Earth trembled. Far above, in orbit, the abandoned investigation ship drifted silently. But now, its hulls were filled with golden mist moving like liquid smoke. The entity had consumed the crew, leaving no bodies, no echoes, no signs of life. Only their memories floated inside the mist like faint shadows. And then the ship suddenly turned toward Earth on its own. Engines that should have been dead came alive with a soft golden glow. The vessel glided smoothly, silently, as if controlled by an unseen pilot. When Earth's military scanners detected the movement, alarms rang across every base. "The investigation ship is returning," an officer shouted. "But no one is alive on it," another replied. Dr. Elena's heart dropped. "It's not the crew. It's the entity. It's using the ship as a vessel." Earth launched fighter drones to intercept it, but as they approached, they dissolved into particles of glowing dust, the same way the Draconian ships had vanished. Nothing could stop it. The ship entered Earth's upper atmosphere, leaving a trail of shimmering gold behind it. People across the planet saw it streak through the sky like a burning comet. News channels cut to live footage. Social media exploded. Millions watched in fear as the ship descended gently toward the oceans. Then it stopped, floating above the water. The golden dust inside the vessel burst outward like a cloud, spreading across the sea, the air, and the sky. The mist formed huge spirals that glowed with brilliant light. The ocean rippled beneath it as if bowing to a god. Earth was face to face with the awakened terror. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted. Delegates shouted over one another, demanding fleets, demanding escape plans, demanding answers. But the truth was simple. There was nowhere to run. One elder diplomat finally spoke above the noise. "We must talk to Earth. We must understand this thing." The Council broadcast a message to Earth, demanding immediate contact with Dr. Elena. Her face appeared on their screens, pale and exhausted. "What is happening?" the Chancellor asked. Elena took a breath. "The entity has fully awakened. It is not attacking us. It is studying us." "Studying?" someone asked. "Yes," she continued. "It is trying to understand the energy that woke it. It is exploring and feeding." The Chancellor frowned. "Feeding on what?" Elena looked down, afraid to answer. "Life, emotion, memory, energy, everything." A cold silence filled the chamber. "We cannot fight it," Elena said, "but maybe we can communicate with it." Back on Earth, as the golden mist swirled across the sky, people felt flashes of memories, some their own, some not. Moments of fear, love, sadness, and hope played inside their minds. The entity was reading humanity, and humanity was reading it. They saw ancient suns collapsing, galaxies drifting apart, civilizations falling silent under the entity's presence. They saw billions of years flash in seconds. They saw the Draconian Armada screaming silently as they dissolved into the golden fog. It was not cruel. It was not evil. It was simply hunger and instinct, like a cosmic tide that flowed when disturbed. And now it was flowing across Earth. On the coastline near the floating investigation ship, a military team stood ready but terrified. The ocean below began to glow. The golden mist gathered into a tall pillar of light. Slowly, shapes appeared inside, long, flowing limbs, twisting symbols, and an enormous eye-like pattern with no pupil. A voice entered every mind at once. "We remember this place." Humans fell to their knees. Some cried. Some screamed. Some stared in awe. The voice spoke again. "You are small, yet you echo with fire. You disturb our sleep." Asterisk, asterisk. Dr. Elena stepped forward, speaking through a communicator. "We did not disturb you. Another fleet did. The Draconians attacked us. Their energy woke you." The golden light shifted, recognizing her words. "The ones who came with metal and rage. They fed us." Asterisk, asterisk. The ocean rippled violently as the entity's presence expanded. Elena tried again. "We want peace. We want to understand you." For a moment, everything became still. The wind stopped. Waves froze. The golden light quieted. Then the voice returned, so loud it shook the planet's core. "We have fed. We will rest. But when stars scream again, we rise once more." The golden mist began pulling back, gathering into the investigation ship. The vessel rose slowly, silently, leaving Earth's atmosphere and drifting back into the darkness of space. Earth had survived, not through power, not through technology, but through understanding and fear. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Their fleets remained useless, their weapons powerless, their pride shattered. Earth stood at the center of the greatest cosmic event in history and survived what no other world ever had. But one truth remained. The entity was not gone forever. It was only returning to sleep, asterisk, asterisk. And the next time it awoke, the galaxy might not be so lucky.